Okay, so let's start the video. Oh no. Okay, we're back.
Oh boy, I can't wait to take a look at some fun and constructive comments in my comment section.
It's funny. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So, since you unoriginal little f***ers won't shut up about it,
He just censors it.
yeah, original idea. I know it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh God.
Gosh, I'm allergic to bad ideas. Now, since we only have 30 minutes, and that's like an hour, but half of it, so like
Oh, yeah.
half an hour, it's not a whole lot of time. So the game is probably gonna be terrible. Yeah, I hate you guys.
He doesn't hate me.
So I started with a new project, and boom, square. This square is looking thick. Then I made
The square looks kind of thick.
and just like that, we have physics. And with all of my amazing graphics out of the way, it's time to do some coding. Now, I usually black out during coding, and then I wake up and everything works. So I can't really commentate and explain what I did here, because I don't remember. But essentially, I was trying to make a grapple.
Oh no, not again.
These grappling guns are cool, like Spider-Man used to say. Yeah, sick. And there we go, we now have a terrible grappling gun. Next up, I coded the camera to follow the player. Then I had another blackout, and I woke up to some code that will randomly generate our world. Now, since we need something to grapple to, we are basically just generating a bunch of squares around the world that you will have to use to grapple with. Now, this is already like 10 out of 10 gameplay, but don't take my word for it, just listen to what IGN has to say.
One of the worst downloadable games I've ever played. That's all you really need to know.
The only problem with the game now is that you can't die, so if you fall out of the map, you just kind of enter the void, which, you know, it's a bit of a problem. So to counter this problem, I made a big, fat, giant square. Just like your mom.
What?
Lava. Because obviously lava makes any game better. Everyone knows that. So when you fall into the lava, yeah, you guessed it, you die. You dead. This is so scuffed. This is my worst game so far. And we have 10 minutes left and the game still looks like garbage. So let's make the game look good to distract everyone from the terrible gameplay and all of my mistakes. So
Hooray.
you can add some post-processing. Yep, shickety pop, check, yep, boom! And the game still looks like garbage. But I tried. At least the gameplay works properly, and you know, that's what's important. 5 minutes left. Red square. If you touch them, you die. So, don't touch them, idiot. Okay? Cool. And we're done.
This game is the worst.
Yeah, thanks for the great suggestion, guys. The game is terrible. I absolutely hate it. And yes, some of you might say, hey, this is just a reskin of your mobile game Balls. Now, you might say that, but if you take a closer look, they're two completely different games. And as far as the gameplay goes, they're actually the same game, but with a grappling gun. So, because I like to publish terrible games to the Google Play Store, we're just going to work a bit more on this game today and turn it into a terrible mobile game. I don't know. First off, I copied the rope effect that I made for my game Off the Sticks and put it into this game. Then I found a pixelated shader that makes the game look like it's even worse quality, which probably fits the game because it's a piece of shit. So yeah, nice. I also added some particles and some stuff in the background. I don't know. And then I made the player morph and rotate towards the velocity. So if you go really fast, you become a long boy. And we also need some sort of score system, so you can now destroy blocks by flying into them. And while doing all of this, I was listening to The Weeknd, and I was like, fuck, The Weeknd is also kind of thick.
He needed
So I felt
some
inspired, and
sickness.
I made this wave kind of song in FL Studio, and then just turned that bloom up in the game through the roof, and ta-da! So bad. Oh, it's so terrible. Main menu, settings, shop, thick, combo system, what the XP and levels. Yeah, I literally just copied it straight from my game balls, okay, don't judge me. I can tell you're judging me and I don't like it. Stop it, stop. Anyway, time to upload the game to the Google Play Store, which is pretty easy. I've done it like 3 times before, so yeah, the first thing we need is a logo. So I'm just gonna put the face on this guy and then you need to name your game. So since this game is terrible and a disaster, we're just gonna name it Bad Game. And then you just submit it. Boom, there it is. Bad Game is out now. And what am I doing with my life? I don't know why I wasted my entire day putting together this piece of, but you know, there it is. It's out there. So if you want to play it, you know, it's available for Android, Windows, Linux, Mac. We got it all, dude. Yeah, links down below, boys. And here is some gameplay of me playing on.
Let's go watch this one.
12 hours. Well, you already knew that based on the title of this video and the thumbnail, so I don't really know what the point of this intro is. Just cut to the
Sick
video.
nose
In my lead.
is back, baby. The sick nose is back.
Hours. Well, you already knew that based on the title of this video and the thumbnail, so I don't really know what the point of this intro is.
Mr. Sick Nose is back.
I leave. Yeah. So the clock just turned 10 a.m., which means we are ready to get started.
It's been made on 2019.
The very first thing I did was make a circle. Circles are cool and they're round and stuff. Anyway, the plan is to make a ball you can bounce around into other balls and score points. So I added a mechanic that allows you to throw the ball around with your mouse. Then I added a slow motion effect whenever you're aiming, as well as squeezing the ball to give it more feedback. Is it necessary? Not really. Is it cool? Yeah, hell yeah. I also made it so you have to touch the ground to regain your jump. This is basically important so players don't just spam jump up into the sky. And of course I made a super basic camera script that follows the player and also zooms based on the player's speed. Now that we have the very basics, let's start with the fun stuff. So first off, I added an enemy into the game. When you hit them, you get a boost upwards and you also regain your jump. This is where things start to get fun, as you can now combo the enemies without touching the floor. But so far it's looking a bit bland and boring, so we need to juice up the game real quick. The easiest way of doing this is adding particles, because particles are cool and I mean everybody loves particles. So I made a quick enemy explosion effect using Unity's built-in particle system, and voila, the juice levels have now reached new heights. Speaking of juice, time for a quick toilet break.
Wow, some toilet break. That's super dumb.
I quickly added a score system and then got to work on sound effects. I'm gonna use SFXR, which is a free sound effect generator, to make my sounds, and here's what it sounds like so far. We still need to juice up the game a bit more, so I added Unity's post-processing stack to make the graphics look a bit better, and I also made the player squeeze when moving fast and rotating towards the velocity. Then I added a low-pass filter to the sounds and music when you're in slow motion, and finally put together a health bar. As you can tell, you lose HP by using slow motion, so you have to constantly hit enemies in order to get your health back up. But now I'm getting a bit hungry, so it's time for lunch. I'm just gonna make some quick scrambled eggs, and someone told me in the comment section that I should crack them on a flat surface, which totally did not work at all. Probably just because I'm terrible with eggs, but maybe cracking them on a flat surface isn't so good of an idea. I don't know. I'm not a cook, I'm a programmer, okay? Stop judging me, please. Lunch is done, and I started working on the camera shake. But I had so much trouble here, I just could not get it to work. I had already wasted like 1 hour trying to fix this strange bug, and I just could not figure out why it was happening for the life of me. And boy was I starting to feel the pressure at this point. I finally figured it out and I now have a camera shake in place, but it was definitely not worth wasting that much time with it. I'm pretty much like 1 hour behind schedule because of it, so I just have to get right back to work. First off, let's improve the camera control. It will now zoom out more depending on several factors, like for example how high in the air you are, and also how fast you're moving. Then I added more sound effects and made it so you actually die when running out of HP. We also need more variety in enemies, so I added a green spike enemy that kills you on impact. Kinda looks like a creeper. Oh man. Also made a purple entity which will shoot you off into a random direction once you hit. But I swear it is not random. It always shoots me off into the green boys and then I die every single time. So I'm telling you, do not trust the purple boys. You can't trust them. And of course we have to actually make the enemies spawn on this stage because otherwise we don't really have a game. So I put together a quick algorithm that spawns enemies as you move, and the way that the algorithm works is that the amount of enemies spawning will decrease linearly with the height. Now, that sounds really smart, and you have to keep in mind I'm not very smart, so I definitely found this on Google, but I make the rules so it is allowed to find algorithms on Google. Boom. Anyway, therefore you are better off not going too high as there are fewer enemies up there. I also added a healer enemy and a golden enemy that gives you a lot of points. Also, I'm not quite sure why I call them enemies. Like, one of them literally heal you, so I don't know. So it's currently 4 p.m., which means we're halfway there and we got 6 hours left. Now, oh god. Okay. As I was saying, I'm pretty happy with where we are. We kind of have like a playable game.
I like how he broke his. He almost broke his phone.
Yep, and I die instantly. So we still have a couple of things to do, but I'm pretty happy with where we are. But I'm getting pretty hungry now, so I'm gonna go make some dinner and then continue afterwards. I just finished dinner and we have approximately 5.5 hours left, I think, and there are a million things to do. But we're looking good so far, so we're just gonna get right back to work and hopefully finish off. I'm done with dinner, so it's time to make some music. Here's the result. I only spent about like 30 minutes on this, so it's nothing too wild, but I think it gets the job done. Time is starting to get a bit tight, and we still have a lot of essential features. First off, I did some optimization so that the entities off screen will despawn. Then I added some UI so you can actually restart the game once you die, and I also fixed it up so entities will always explode with their correct colors. You will now also lose HP constantly even when you're standing still, and I finally added some more sound effects. I've also spent a good amount of time trying to add a small score pop-up effect when you blow up enemies that shows how many points you got for killing that specific enemy. But it doesn't seem to want to work, it just kind of wanted to run away. I also had some issues with the trajectory not working, so it's not looking too good right now.
2 hours left for you, Danny!
Finally got the score pop-ups and the trajectory working, but we're already down to 3 hours, and my brain is starting to get really fried up. But I'm not about to give up now, so let's just push these last 3 hours to the absolute limit. The music will now dampen once you die. I finally added a combo system so you're rewarded for playing well and quickly. This made it much more fun and addictive. The health bar now accurately displays your current health. And finally I added a new black hole, which will kill you if you get sucked in. So I just finished implementing the black hole and I currently have about 15 minutes left. And I think we're finished. I cheated a bit because it's actually 1 minute past 10, which means I'm disqualified, but it's not that big of a deal because it's my own competition, so, you know, who cares? The final hour I spent adding more particle effects, high score, and also made the slow motion effect a bit better. So there it is, a game made in 12 hours. If you want to try it out, it's completely free. The link is in the comment section or description down below, and it's available for Windows, Linux, and Mac. I want to make it available for mobile devices too, but that's for my next video. So you better make sure to smash that subscribe button. Approximately 2 weeks ago, I made a game in only one day. This week though, we're gonna turn it into a mobile game and release it within the week. And since I already worked for one day, I'm gonna give myself 6 days because 7 minus 1 is 6. Quick maths. Yeah, I'm a smart guy. This means we have until Saturday.
Oh look, it's Big Brain Man.
It's gonna be kind of interesting because I haven't made a mobile game before. And also last week, I made a website using hostinger.com/dani. Which was a lot of fun, so you should definitely check out Hostinger if you need a website, and you should check out the video because it's dope. It's made by me, so yeah, duh. Let's just get right into the news. It's Monday, and the very first thing I did today was plan out all of the features I wanted in the game. So I made a quick list on Trello.com, and this video is not sponsored by Trello, but hey, if you are watching this, I'm just saying, hit me up. The first thing I did was change the trajectory.
Okay, we're back because I cheated a bit because I watched this one. I'm in danger. Also, this is ridiculous.
But hey, if any of you Trello employers are watching this, I'm just saying, hit me up. The first thing I did was change the trajectory so it shows where you're actually going instead of just a straight line. Next up, we need to change the launch mechanic so it works better for mobiles. It's currently designed for PC, but I want a pullback mechanic instead since that makes more sense for a phone game. So I landed on this design where you aim from where you initially pressed, so you can basically play with only your thumb, which is pretty nice. I also reworked the camera completely so it now zooms and moves based on where you're aiming and also which direction you're moving in. After that, I set up a super basic menu where you can play, shop, and customize, but for now the only button that actually works is the play button. Now let's do some save files. I've never actually done this before, so hello Google, how are you doing today on this fine Monday? Please help me. And just like that, we now have save files working. So if I open up the app and commit Sudoku, you can see it remembered my previous high score. Nice. I also changed the jump mechanic, so instead of only one jump, you now have something called juice, which is depleted by jumping and using slow motion. And when you run out of juice, you can't jump anymore. Then I fixed the spawn system, so entities spawn infinitely to the right and also to the left. And of course, it's not a mobile game without a level and XP system, so I stole the XP formula from good old RuneScape and implemented it into my game. Then I made everything else needed for the XP system, and just like that, we now have a kind of buggy XP bar, but it works. Kind of.
App and wood. Why you hate me?
And finally today, I
Question like app.
Tomorrow. But that's gonna be it for today. I'm absolutely smashed, so I'm gonna go hit the sack and continue tomorrow. It's day 2 and I've recharged after a good night's sleep. I got a lot of stuff done yesterday and the list is almost done already, which means we have a lot of time to add even more fun features. First off today, let's work on the UI and actually make a shop system, which shouldn't take too long. I was wrong. It's currently 1:30 and making a UI and shop system and customization takes much longer than I initially thought. But so far the shop is working and you can actually buy stuff. So here you can see Virgin level 0 ball with no upgrades versus Chad ball with a lot of upgrades, and clearly the Chad is superior. I want to add more upgrades, but I haven't quite figured out what exactly yet, so I sent out a tweet asking for ideas, and you should totally follow me on Twitter, by the way. I post some really cool tweets. Yeah, and while waiting for ideas, I finished a very buggy color selection, so you can change the color of your balls. Back on Twitter now, I've got a lot of cool suggestions, which gave me a ton of inspiration.
You know what? Let's play the game.